Pokemon. Pokemon. Hello guys, hello everyone. I say guys, hello everyone, whether you're a guy, girl or whatever. Um, this is just going to be kind of a rant video really, but today is officially 25 years of celebration, of course, for Pokemon. What is a 28-year-old man doing sat around talking about Pokemon? You know, it's the world we live in these days, like, it's just amazing. It's just so great, and well, it is great. It's Pokemon has been sort of around really for as long as I have. I mean, like I said, I'm 28. I must have been like 3 or 4, really, like probably 4 going on 5, maybe actually into 5 years old when it first sort of made its way to the UK. I can still actually remember the first time I saw someone in the playground. They were sat in the corner with some people huddled around them, just like whoa. And I remember it had an original big fat grey Game Boy with a red cartridge stuck in the back, and I peered over the shoulder. What's that? It's Pokemon, and it's like the guy was walking around. And I mean, from there it was just bananas, absolutely bananas. It blew up, and we've had some. I feel fortunate that I grew up before there was like smartphones and tablets and things like that, because every new fad, every new thing that we had. Turn it down a little bit. Every new thing that we had was new, right? It wasn't an app or anything like that. It was brand new. So and the thing with Pokemon is that you had the cards. And I just went and grabbed. This is a starter. This is from Vivid Voltage. It's got the. This is the one with Charizard that reacts to Leon. Yeah, it's a good card actually. I like the deck. For playing the actual, like a proper deck of it, not just like the starter deck, like a proper deck of it is actually really good fun. It's a good non-GX style deck. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked. Let's start at the beginning of Pokemon. Just talk about this video is about talking about my experience with Pokemon, and as you already, it's all over the place, and I've barely even started. Barely started, right? Yeah, from that initial start of seeing someone play the game, and then the TV show came out. I don't recall being religious with the TV show. Like, I wasn't watching it all the time, but I would watch if it was on. If I caught it, I remember. Since, of course, I have watched through the entire first series multiple times. I've watched all of Orange League. I think I skipped Johto League, like watching it. I'm talking about going back and watching it again. I think I skipped that. I can't remember. Have I watched all the way through? I watched Advanced Battle after it was popular as well, while it was still on the TV here and there. Chronicles was interesting, but for me, like this is the great thing about Pokemon, is that it hits you on so many different fronts, right? If you're not bothered about the TV show, that's fine. You've got the video games and the card games, right? If you're not really bothered about the card games, okay, you like video games, look at this. We've got probably one of the best JRPGs, and still like a. It's not a unique concept anymore, because it's been done by Pokemon, and then it's been stolen. It's been done by a lot. I mean, one of the big ones I can think of is the first game of Ni no Kuni. Really good game, but basically it's Pokemon. Like, yeah, it's just Pokemon, isn't it? It's Pokemon with a different story. Anyway, again, I'm getting sidetracked because there's just so many avenues to get through with Pokemon. For me, the one that I gravitated towards was the cards. Now, I am kicking myself now that I didn't learn to play the card game and actually properly play the card game throughout my entire life. I got into the cards when I was 30. It was when Fire Red Leaf Green came out. I remember pre-ordering Fire Red Leaf Green. I pre-ordered it so early I actually forgot about it, and then I got in the car. I was in high school actually at this point, so I would have been between our school years of year 8 and 11. So that would be ages 12 to 15, 16, right? I remember getting in the car after being picked up from school. I'll tell you what, it was the old school before we moved, so I must have been year 8 or early. Yeah, it must have been probably like year 8, yeah. So yeah, I would have been about 12, and got in my car, and there was a package in the back seat for me. I was like, what the hell was that? Opened it up, Game Boy Advance game, Pokemon Leaf Green. I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this. Whoa, so hype, so hype. Yeah, it was booming. It was super hype, right? So At that point as well, I remember going into what was at the time Woolworths. There's a blast from now the past since they've gone out of business a few years back. Bought the Fire Red and I bought the two starter decks from the Fire Red Leaf Green set, and then I went to my local Pokemon League for the first time. I remember the first time I went, I had a Pokemon magazine and it had it written in that it was a Thursday night, and it wasn't. It was wrong. So I turned up on the wrong day. But it was like, okay, it's Wednesday and Saturday night. So then I turned up on Saturday night, and yeah, it was amazing. Loads of grown people, grown up adults, people my age as well, playing Pokemon. Fantastic. I got destroyed by every single person in there, and from that, I got into the game and I started playing. But very, very early on though, I had the Machamp starter deck, which most people had, and I had the Machamp with first edition. Didn't play the game though. Why didn't we learn the rules of the game? Why did we just go around with the cards trading them? Barely bought a booster pack. Just had a starter deck, and that was it. Weird, really weird. Why did we do that? Well, very late for regret now, isn't it? Very late for regret. Although to be fair, the base set, the sets that you get, that was something else. Why didn't I buy? I should have bought the Game Boy Color Pokemon card game, because that's really good. It's got the first 3 sets only, which, to be honest, is not a great format. I don't know what the deck's called, but it's basically you play like 4 Machamp and then like 4 Scyther or Electabuzz, and you just like burn through your deck in one turn basically, and you just wipe them with sort of one turn Machamp with 4 plus powers, and then you got 4 computer searches, 4 Professor Oak, 4 Bill, and you just mill your whole deck and smash them. Yeah, and then Scyther, you like turn 1 Grass Energy, Sword Dance, turn 2 double colorless energy plus power, whatever, and just annihilate. It was brutal. Real brutal, brutal times. There's been some real brutal sets of Pokemon cards. Does anyone remember is it Neo Slowking? It was like, if Slowking's in play, it had a power where when your opponent used a trainer card, flip a coin of tails, it doesn't work. And they stack. So you each get 4 in play. And they try and use the trainer card. No. It's ridiculous. And there was a Rocket card as well, like Jesse and James or something. No, see, yeah, Here Come Team Rocket got reprinted in Rocket Returns as a support, and that flipped up all of your prize cards face up. But it was like, I can't remember what it was. I swear it was like, look at your opponent's hand, just like discard a trainer or something just obscene. It was so powerful. But anyway, again, I'm getting sidetracked. So yeah, Pokemon, massive. I mean, I was peak target audience when it first started, right? Like young, easy to get manipulated into a what do you call it, promotional thing. Boom, loved it. It was great. By the time I hit my middle school, so I'm talking years like 3 to 7, if you're British and you know what they are. Mostly it died out. It wasn't mainstream. I remember Beyblades coming out around that time. I should do a video talking about the Beyblade craze, but not right now. Let's not get into that. Let's just move through. But yeah, high school was when, in fact, I had some friends in middle school that were they would really like gold and silver. I'm even at an early age, I was a purist. I was like, this is it. Kanto, 151 Pokemon, 152 if you include Ho-Oh, of course, who was in the first episode of season 1. That's it, right? I was very early on as well. I was very skeptical of the idea of adding babies. I was like, well, why is it that no one in Kanto? Why is it that Professor Oak had never seen a baby Pikachu or Pichu before? Why is that? How did that happen? I mean, I think, see, this thing, I don't know if this is the right thing to say on the internet, but I suspect that I have very mild autism, and that's as an example of that. I can't, I can't deal with that. Oh, you created a baby Mr. Mime. What's that thing called? Smoochum? Is that Baby Jinx? Baby Jinx is Smoochum. Anyway, like both of them, like, okay, how has this not been known before? weird, you know. I didn't like the idea of it. It was almost like the original 151 that were in the games were sacrilege, so don't mess around with them. Rhydon, why did you evolve Rhydon? Rhydon was fine. Why have we got to have Rhyperior now? You know? Why have you done that? But anyway, so got into the card game probably when I was about 12, 13-ish, I guess. My first ever nationals, this is it. See, it's sunny now, and sunny days sometimes remind me of this. Is when because I live very far away from where the nationals are, and I remember hiring, well, I didn't hire a minibus, I didn't have that kind of money. My dad like hiring a minibus, all the guys, everyone around, we would all chip in, pick everyone up around midnight to drive to this place called Walburn Safari Park, which is where the nationals used to be held. Do you know what? You cannot have possibly picked a better location to have a Pokemon tournament. We're talking about playing this card game about powerful magical animals, you know, and we're in a safari park, and everyone that enters, they got a free admission to the safari park. So even if you got smashed early on, you could just go to the safari park and enjoy it. Amazing. First time I remember, like, because we left at midnight, we got there quite early, and didn't sleep. I can't sleep on a minibus, you joking? I'm also too excited to play, right? And there's just a peacock like walking around. I was like, oh, this is so good. This is so great. And it was just really hot, but indoors in this nice big place with all the tables. It was so good. I mean, it was so good. My first ever nationals, I came 5th. Bit annoying. Top 4, got the invite to Worlds, got a place at World Championships. Top 2, got a paid place. Came 5th. Year that was with Gardevoir from Ruby Sapphire, and it had the Gardevoir from Emerald in it, and Gardevoir EX obviously from Sandstorm. And I played it with Pidgeot from Fire Red Leaf Green, and I had Energy Draw Delcatty as well. So it was, on reflection, not a good deck. Not a good deck. It was not synergized very well at all. I didn't have Dragon Magneton in it, which is what works with Delcatty, which I basically just stole it from the Worlds deck from the year before, which I bought because someone at my league beat me mercilessly with Gardevoir, and I was like, wow, this is a really powerful Pokemon. Wanted to play Gardevoir, ended up, playing Gardevoir, taking it to nationals. But the way that it's supposed to work was you have Gardevoir with Psy Shadow, but it works off the engine of Delcatty Energy Draw, and then you've got Magneton, which moves the energy back into the deck. I didn't do that. I just had 18 energy in my deck. But somehow I came 5th. I don't know. I mean, that's not a good sign for the 11 to 14s in the UK at the time. Not powerful players. The year after that, I did way worse. I played Arcanine EX. What is the set? Now, I think I'm going to overlay the set, but in my head, I want to say it was Crystal Guardians. Am I right? Future Danny right now is editing the video, and it's just like, you were wrong, you dumbass, you were wrong, it wasn't. But yeah, it was Arcanine with Lunatone Solrock Lock, which I believe was from the Oxy set. That was a really good year actually for Pokemon trading card game. That is, if you can find them, which I'm saying if you can find them, you probably can. The Worlds decks from that year, right? Because for some reason people were buying the Worlds decks and selling the cards individually. Like, you idiots, just keep it all together. You had Mutrick, Evolutions, LBS, and Lunarock. I'm pretty sure those were the 4 decks. So good. All 4 of those decks were really good fun to play. Very different, strategically different. Fantastic. So good. And I feel really fortunate that I was really deep into the craze, well, into the hobby, I should say, at that time, because it was a great time to play Pokemon TCG. I came 3rd in 2008 Nationals, I believe. That was the first time they changed it from a 10 and under, 11 to 14, and 15 plus to junior seniors masters. Now, the age ranges are the same, but the difference is it was when your birthday was, not how old you were. So if you had a birthday like the day before Nationals, and you were about to become 15, then on the old rules you were pretty screwed, right? So they changed it. It's like where you are, because every September is a new season. So if you're 14 before the 1st of September, then you stay in seniors. Yeah, I remember I came third, which was the first year also that they changed the invites from top 4 to top 2. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I played Latias and Latios EX. A nice gimmick deck, but I definitely over-teched it. Definitely too many techs. But I did quite well, considering, not too bad. I've moved. Yeah, the missus is using the bedroom to shower and all that sort of stuff, so had to get out to get into the main room instead. And just picking up where I left off, yeah, so the year after I came third at Nationals with Latias Latios was when I moved into Masters. And I can't remember exactly, like I haven't got a diary written down or anything like that. I'm not going to research it, but I'm just speaking from memory. I think that was when Pokemon started to kind of change a little bit, as in the card game specifically. Excuse me one moment, I'm just going to do this. I put it on this. This might just make it feel a bit nicer to talk, holding this thing instead of the actual phone. You can't see what it is, but it's like a tripod thing. It's not a tripod. It's like a tripod. Oh yeah, that's worse. Okay. Anyway, we'll just stick with it. So, yeah, the year I became master. So 15 plus. So that would have been the thing is, right. So my birthday is in June, end of June. So I was 14, and then turn of September of that year. Could try and work out what year I turned 14. I mean, okay, it would have been 2008. No, sorry, 15. 2008, 2007 maybe? 2007, because 2008 I left school, so it would have been good 15 going on 16. So 2007, I start competing as a Masters when I'm 14, and it wasn't until sort of the Nationals when I would have been around 15 years old. Not that it really matters upon reflection, but that was the year that things in Pokemon started to kind of change a little bit. Now, it must have been around that time that Diamond and Pearl came out, I think. So they scrapped EXs, like 2 prizes. They moved into level X's. We had new Pokemon. We had a new game. We had Diamond and Pearl. We had, Empoleon, Infernape, Torterrible. That's a term of endearment, by the way. It was a terrible card, and the deck was called Torterrible, but somehow it won a tournament. Anyway, yeah, so there were some changes, and they started adding 0 energy attacks. So, if you have no energy, you can still slap for 10 damage. Things like that. That must have been the year before, but I don't know, I'm getting sidetracked. But the point is, when I turned Masters was when there was a Gardevoir, a certain Gardevoir that came out, and it became more successful even than the previous Gardevoir, which was Psyshadow. Obviously Gardevoir EX, not the Delta Species one. This is the old Sandstorm one. Yeah, more successful than those two. It must have been a good card, and it was. It was Gardevoir with Psychic Lock. Is that right? It's called Psychic Lock. Yeah. So it is when they changed Pokepowers and bodies into just abilities. Psychic Lock, it was 3 energy, 1 psychic, I believe, 2 colourless, 60 damage. Your opponent can't use any abilities next turn. Its own ability was, this is so ridiculous, look at your opponent's discard pile, pick a supporter card you find there, and use it as the effect of this ability. What? So powerful. So powerful. I think it had 130 HP. Yeah, so powerful. And then the Gallade came out, which did like crazy damage as well. So overall, bit of a powerhouse of decks, and yeah, I just it was so powerful, and it became. I think it ended up winning Worlds once or twice or something. It was just obscene. And the first tournament I ever played in was when I used a Banette card. That was more my style. So it was super simple. It was just you have 4/4 of Banette, Shuppet Banette. Shuppet did 1 energy ascension, perfect, just searched it for Banette, evolve it from Shuppet. You would TV report another Banette into the discard pile,
and then 2 energy. It did 40 plus another 40 damage if there's a magnetic disc pile, and I think you shuffle it back into your deck. Off the top of my head, I think it was that. Doesn't really matter because I'm probably going to overlay it for you anyway to see. Now you might be looking at that, and especially if you play Pokemon recently and you're like, whoa, that's got no health, does no damage. At the time it was okay, it wasn't overly powerful, it wasn't underpowered. I had an interest in rogue decks. I had an interest in using different methods of sort of ending up with that win. I really liked at the time, I really liked, one of my favourite rogue decks come out was Rye-Eggs. Fantastic, such a great idea to play Rye-Eggs. Whoever made that, kudos, really cool. And Banette, as you can tell, you can see it's got no ability, or poker power or anything like that, so slap a cessation crystal on that, shuts everything down. It had 4 energy removal 2, which if you don't know what that is, that's Crushing Hammer now. Yeah, it was just quite destructive, and it also had the weakness advantage on Gardevoir, so happy days, and Gallade of course, so it could one-hit KO Gardevoir and Gallade, and my first tournament I played in was one of the ones where you win the card with a coin on it. Was it Battle Road? Wow, was it called Battle Road? Did I really just dig that out of my head? Yeah, and it was also that sort of period when we started adding points. It was like a points thing as well. It wasn't just like if you win. If you win a cities, then you get an invite to nationals. So you just had to win one. It was like easy. Well, not easy, but it was much better than. I think that's better than having to sort of gain points and all that. It just means that you end up wasting hundreds of pounds travelling and hundreds of weekends. But anyway, yeah, so my first tournament as a master, in the final against Gardevoir, dead draw, come second. But around that time, I think it's when I started to like lose interest really, and Reshiram and Zekrom started to come along with their 3 energy 120, I think it was, and it was so OP, and that Electros as well. Dynamotor, is it called Dynamotor? With the effect that it's basically Firestarter from Blaziken Firestarter, but on a stage 1 for electric. I mean, it was so powerful. There's a lot of very powerful guys that were around. I was in college, and I just started to find interest in other things, and that's just how it went. But where I am now, I shouldn't skip so much. Continued to lose interest as Plasma came out. 2013, I moved to Manchester to be a professional athlete, and that's when I decided, you know what, I don't really have the time anyway. It was around that time I wasn't really playing. I was focusing more on coaching people as well and trying to help other people to get better. I don't know, maybe I say that and maybe I didn't really, maybe I just couldn't be bothered. But I did a little bit. That year we had, that's 2012 I think, we had, this is so sick, that some of the guys went from Exeter who were left, there were literally about 5 of us, including me, that were like decent players. We got a first place in Masters, a second place in Seniors, and I think a first or a second in Juniors in that same year. Right. Now, for a city that is way out of the way, not particularly big, we're not a hotspot of powerful players like London or anything like that. That's a big deal. I mean, we were killers actually for a while. Like Exeter was a bit of a killer place because it was like people would travel down thinking it was going to be easy points, and it was not. It was not easy points. Just because we were tucked away, we were these country bumpkins. We were smashing people. Sometimes people would come and win, of course, but it wasn't easy, and quite quickly, Team Exeter gained a good reputation for being powerful players. That's all kind of gone now. Everyone who was part of Team Exeter has moved on. I did kind of message 1 or 2 when I started playing again last year to try and get the old team back together. Haven't done so yet, but yeah, I'm hopeful that, especially with the announcements yesterday about the new Pokemon video games, I'm really hopeful that maybe returning to Sinnoh might be good for the card game. And but I'm not too hopeful about these new, I don't know what they're called, like newer VMAXs, like whatever they're called. I'm not super excited for those. but we'll see. Hopefully the Pokemon card game keeps growing, keeps getting more more enjoyable. Really, is what we're looking for. I don't love the power creep. The power creep's a bit mad. Why are we doing 270? 270 is like 5-10 years ago. Say 5 years ago, 10 years ago is unheard of. But around 2013, yeah, is when I stopped playing for about 7 years, I suppose. 2020 is when I got back into it. Got in at stellar time, ADP ripping. Yeah, what have I missed? Oh, I went to the Worlds. I went to Worlds in 2010 with Lux Chomp. Last chance qualifier, did 5-2, didn't make the cut. Is what it is. Got to go to Hawaii though. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it was a really good experience, and I do want to do another World Championships, believe it or not. Yeah, that's pretty much my Pokemon memories. I did play the video games, just not much. Not as much as I didn't. What I don't like about it, I don't like the fact that if you want to have a competitive team, you have to breed it from. You have to have an egg, and then you've got to hope it's got the right temperament. If not, you just bin it off and try again. It's just like, what the hell, man? Like, yeah, odd. But if the people are into that, It's just not for me. So I definitely found more enjoyment in the video game. It's in the card game. Anyway, yeah, I think that's pretty much it about my Pokemon experience. Happy birthday, Pokemon. Here's to another 25 years. Yeah, I can't wait to be grey, still playing Pokemon. Maybe I'll be a granddad by then, who knows? I'm not a dad yet, but who knows? I'm going to start doing more videos playing TCG as well. If you look back before I started buying loads of Beyblades, I did do a video of me playing on with Dragapult VMAX. Got loads more decks I could do between now and then. We've got Battle Styles coming out soon as well, which I'm pretty excited for. I think Battle Styles would be really good for the game as well. Hoping for some new meta. I can't wait to get rotation done, and we'll get ADP out, and we'll start focusing on new formats. Should be fun. I have a little bit more to add to this video because I got into a lot of technicals, but I didn't talk about really the most important part about the Pokemon trading card game. I touched on it a little bit, but the important part was coming together with people and doing something competitive and strategic, but still fun. The time, like, I've got so many memories of sitting around with people, looking through binders, looking at cards, discussing strategies, and that moment when it clicks and you think of something new and you're like, oh my god, I need to try that. And you rush to put it together and you chat about it and you work out how it works against other matchups and all these different layers, and that is such a great feeling. And all just the times spent in not even just playing, but the times in between playing with other people. So yeah, I just want to finish off this video giving it just saying here's to all of you that I've ever done this with. People from Team Exeter and people from beyond. To Dave, Tom, to Jack's brother, Alex, Ollie. Oh man, it goes on, doesn't it? Nitish, Sammy's two brothers. So many people out there that you just meet and get to know and enjoy something with, and it's fantastic. And that's the important bit. And this is the end. Thank you very much, everyone. Cheers.